Good afternoon, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's 12:15. You know what that means. It's time for Live from Dave's Office, the weekly webcast from Hamilton Church, so you know what's going on with everything. We had a lot to talk about today. So much going on. Without any further ado, our pastor, Dave Kettleson.
Hey, welcome, everyone. Always good to connect with you every week on Tuesday, 12:15, and we have our special guest. You've heard her before, but she has a lot of neat things to share to keep us updated. Laura Jackson. So Laura, would you kind of share with us what's going on in your department?
Yes. Hey, guys. And good morning. I say good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. My brain is still on morning time. Yeah, we have a lot going on. I say a lot going on with the kids. We have been, just to kind of give an update, lots of things. We've been Zooming since the beginning of the year, or since we kind of all went home through the pandemic and social distancing and all of that. So we've been doing our Zoom classes each Sabbath and kind of keeping the kids connected. And we did all of that through the summer. And now that we're back into school and kids are learning online and in front of the screen every day, we tried to kind of think of ways to get them out from behind the screen. Because again, during the summer, they weren't really having those issues. But now that we're back in school, there's a lot going on with that. And kids kind of need a break. So we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to try a few new things. And so funny enough, actually it was supposed to be this past weekend, but we're going to start on October 24. We bumped it a couple weeks because we're trying to make some plans. So October 24 is going to be a really big day for our kids area, because that will be the first day that we have our outdoor services. We're going to do Sabbath school as an outdoor service at our normal window of time from 10 to 11 on Sabbath morning. And then we will continue to do that for about a month. We're going to try it till about the middle of November and just kind of see, depending on weather, depending on, again, how cold it gets. And then also whether or not we're able to kind of come back into the church. Because even though we've been social distancing due to the pandemic, some of the reasoning for staying outside of the church and not bringing the kids back full time is because we've still been working on projects within the church to fix up from where we had our tornadoes in April. So there's a lot of different conditions and situations that have kind of that we've had to consider for what we were doing with the kids. And Dave, am I okay just to roll on through? I didn't know if you wanted me to
I think it's great.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about the movie night. What will they expect to see?
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so that was another thing. So we've had outdoor. So October 24 is going to be our first outdoor services for the kids. And let me say a little quick thing about that. When you do come, if you do show up for outdoor services, it's going to be a bring your own chair, bring your own blanket. We're going to still sit with our families and kind of keep distanced, because again, we want to be safe, we want to be careful, but we are assuming that, we're going to be outdoors. So it's going to be a little easier to work that out. We'll have just a small song service. We'll do like one large group lesson, and then we'll have, like a distance game or some type of craft that we can work with. And then obviously, kids can't come and not have a fun snack. So we'll have some type of probably a bottled water and like an individually wrapped snack for them to take with them. So as far as what to bring or what to prepare for, bring your own chair, bring your own blanket, and you may want to bundle up a little bit because it's starting to get kind of chilly out there going into the fall. But movie night, so again, October 24, our big date, start children's services that morning. And then that night we have in lieu of our trunk or treat, because the last couple of years we have done a trunk or treat, and we've outreached to the community, and they have been fantastic and the kids have loved them. But this year, again, a lot of what we do, we base on our parents' feedback and how comfortable they feel with the situation. So a lot of the cues I was receiving from parents for this year was that, we could try to do a trunk or treat, but it may make things just a little hairier than we wanted to try to get into the weeds with. So we're going to do a movie night. And this is not going to be open to the public per se. This is open again, because of the pandemic, and we're not sure as far as room and crowding and that sort of thing. We want to make sure that we can have our families attend and be comfortable. So this year I say closed event. This is for our HCC families and their children or whomever. And it's okay if you want to bring a friend. We're just not going to open it up to the masses of all of East Brainerd to come and sit and watch our movie with us. But it's going to be a triple feature. They're all G-rated movies. We have 2 short ones in the very beginning and then like an hour long to finish it up. It will be 7 to 9 p.m. Because again, if the little ones come, sometimes they like coming, but they leave a little earlier. So that's why we did the 2 short ones in the beginning, so that if the littles did have to leave earlier, they could still see a full feature all the way through. And then we'll have, of course, individual drinks, individually wrapped snacks for them. And we are going to do pre-packaged treat bags. So again, in lieu of trunk or treating or, trick or treating, however, you take that, we will have a bag with their treats and all of that already stuffed and ready for them to take home when they leave. So yeah, but
go ahead, I was just looking too, the county and city mayor have both discouraged, trick or treating, trunk or treating. So I appreciate you're doing this for our own family. So this looks good. Not inviting all the others. It's not that we don't want them to come. It's just we're got to be so safe during these times. So
right. And I think most people right now understand that. And I think too, you consider that a lot of people that come different years, whether they do or don't have a church that they attend, there's going to be, there's a lot of churches that are doing things like that for their folks. So like you said, it's not that we don't want people coming in because we love to have everyone, but it's just we also need to keep our own kiddos safe right now. And so did you want me to touch on the idea of trying to come back or what that might look like?
Why don't you go ahead and cover that, and then we'll talk a little bit. I know we had just a big Sabbath on adventures too. I'd like you to touch on that after this.
Yeah, so we we can start with adventurers and then move on to the other. So again, our adventurers club that we do each year, Maddie Wade and Sandy James. Actually, Sandy James kind of heads that up, and Maddie is her second in command. And Maddie and Sandy do the most incredible job every year. And so we had their induction ceremony on this Sabbath, but it was, again, socially distanced. We had, parents kind of set apart, and there was a very small group of them, so it wasn't hard to kind of make sure that everybody was able, to come in. And then so once they do their induction, we have the calendar of events that will go throughout the year. A lot of those events are going to be outdoors, or even if it's an indoor situation, the ability to keep them, again, distanced until we're able to go back full circle, full-fledged. But at the same time, and this is probably not the best plug, we have because we've been Zooming all summer, and we have, we haven't been able to be in church, in Sabbath school, collecting offerings or, whatever. Our fundage for adventurers and our fundage for Promised Land, we are always happy to accept any monetary gifts that anyone wants to give, but especially for our adventurers, because we do have overhead for them. We have folks that when you say kind of like sponsoring a child, so you have the ability to sponsor. It's an $80 fee, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that's changed since last year, and I can double check with Sandy, but from what we understand, it's $80 for the entire year. And that includes the uniform and all of the information, and it gets all of their field trips and all of their little things in there, unless there's a little outside something that has to go on. But we typically try to cover that as best we can. But in saying that, when it comes to adventurers, that's been the biggest struggle, is that, again, when you've got parents that are going through, a pandemic, who are losing jobs, losing homes, all of those situations, it's hard for them to be able to financially support some of these situations. So if we have anybody out there who wants to, has the ability at this point to donate, or has the ability financially to assist with anything, I would very much encourage them to go on our website, to our giving portal, and, to help out some of those kids that either A, need to be sponsored, or B, just to give offerings to go either towards Promised Land or towards the adventurers events and things that they do. But adventurers is great.
$80 to sponsor a kid for the year. And I'll tell you, folks, they look so good in their uniforms. I'll tell you, they look sharp, didn't they?
They do, but they just love the experiences that club gives them. It gives them the opportunity to feel like they are a part of something, and to not only be a part of something, but to do something constructive with that time. And it's just, they love it. It's funny, in the Zooming, we would always do like one good thing, give us one good thing about your week with each of the kids before we started, and never failed. If there was an adventurers event on that week or weekend, that was always the first thing out of their mouth. We get to do the adventurers, or we get to do this, or we get to do that. So they love it.
That's neat.
But yeah, so coming back, I'll just say really quick, we are, again, yes, part of this is pandemic based, but the other part of this is church based. So once we get to a place within the church where our projects for construction and things of that nature with the tornado, once that gets a little further along, we can look at the aspect of coming back, even if it is socially distanced with masks and things like that for Sabbath school. And as far as we know, another thing we were holding off because our second level was a little questionable, and we wanted to be able to incorporate children's church as well, because we do that every other weekend. We were trying to think of the entire picture. So at this point, we're going to do our outdoor services till the middle of November 21st, Thanksgiving week. And then we'll reassess based on how far along in the church we are, what is the weather looking like, how all of that's going. And I will say this, with the outdoor services, we are not using tents because, again, they didn't want anything hovering over to trap anything. Mm-hmm. So if it's inclement weather, we will more than likely switch to a Zoom from home situation. Mm-hmm. And I will send that out via parent email. We're going to start using the Remind app because it's a free application that we can use to text and email quickly. And then I will, of course, post our social media pages. So, that's kind of what we've got going on currently.
That's great, Laura. I tell you, it sounds like a lot's going on. I know as I watch the kids' Sabbath, just the glow and just seeing our kids is so exciting. I just really appreciate what you, Sandy, and the others are doing for adventures, for all of this, making certain that they're a part of that. I may show up on the 24th and just kind of hang out with you all, see the kids, and I think that it's really great what you're doing. Anything else you want to share with us? What's going on with the kids and your program?
Well, I was going to say, aside, those were the biggest things. Oh, we did have our work bee this last Sabbath. Yeah. That was a big thing where we, came in and did a lot of cleaning. We cleared out quite a bit too, because I know we'd already kind of purged some of the things in the children's closet, but you can always find more because I don't know how everything, gets in there. You think, where does this come from? So we were able to clear out quite a bit, but work out, again, getting our children's wing kind of revamped and contributing towards projects, again, for the tornado damage and getting that all worked out. So other than that, we're just taking steps to try to get back in the building and get our kids back together and, get our family back on track.
Yeah, we got a lot done, and that was work bee on Sunday. You said Sabbath.
I did. Yes, I'm sorry. Last weekend. Thank you.
We're not working our work bees on Sabbath. It was a Sunday.
I'm sorry.
But a lot got done. Laura, you and your team, and we got Keith, our brand new associate pastor, got him in his office because it was just, it was so much stuff in there, and we got a lot done for the fire marshal too. So I just got a report today just to give everyone a heads up. He was so impressed. They had 3 different fire marshals. I don't know if you call them fire inspectors. And they said they were so impressed with all that we got done. So we're on a roll there. Well, I sure appreciate everything you've shared. Is there anything else? Hal, do you want to ask Laura anything?
Yeah, throw out questions, Hal. I may have forgotten something.
No, I'm just wanting to. Is there any special message that you want our parents to know that are listening to this? That if they're bringing their kids, or if they're thinking about bringing their kids, is there anything specific that they need to know?
Well, at this point, I feel like, again, we're living through such a strange time. Normally I would say, load the kids up and come on. And yes, I'm saying that now, especially moving to outdoors. we're going to be there. And I feel like that kids, that's kind of the biggest thing. And my son, who's 13, that was his biggest struggle, is not being able to feel connected to the people and his church family and all of the things going on. And so at this point, I mean, for parents, we are going to make it as safe as possible for your children. And again, in most cases up to this point, I think minus one situation that I have, a parent has been kind enough to talk with me about. I mean, we have done, I think we've gone overboard almost. I'm on the more conservative end of it because I too am immunocompromised. So everything that I think of and looking at for these children is through that lens and making sure that everyone is going to stay safe. But really, bottom line is these kids love learning and they love the time with their friends. But when you can make learning about Jesus and opening these kids' hearts to something outside of their tiny little window, this is the best way to do it, honestly. And so I would say, come, bring your children, bring your blankets, bring your chairs. You can always email me. My email address is laura@hamiltonchurch.com. Reach out to me. I can give you Zoom information. I'm happy to let you, you can come into the Zoom classes. At this point, just get them involved. That is the biggest thing I can say. But yeah, and little side note, when it comes to Zoom, I don't post our Zoom information on social media for obvious reasons. So if it comes to a Zoom situation and you would like to have your child in the class, you'll need to email me so that I can put you on our mailing list to give that information each week. But yeah, just bring them, get them involved. It's the best thing you can do for your kid.
Well, we can't thank you enough. And we just say there's not a better person to head this up. Laura, you're doing an amazing job keeping us informed too, and our viewers. A lot of you have children that are a part of that, so we want to keep you informed. And just like Laura said, Laura@hamiltonchurch.com. So you can go there in case you don't already have that information, and she can answer all your questions. So we covered some things. The 24th is a big day for being outdoors, and it's 10 to 11 every Sabbath through the November around the 21st. November 24th, that evening. What time does that start that night? 7 o'clock, 7 to 9?
Oh, October 24?
Yeah, is it 7 p.m. to 9?
Yes, October 24. So you could probably show up about 6:45 to kind of get a spot and put your blanket down. Right. No registry. You can just show up. Yeah, it's but 7 to 9 p.m. Yeah,
7 to 9 p.m. So all that. And if you have any other questions, you're welcome to just get on our Facebook page. I tell you what, too, I think there's a picture of our young people on our Facebook page, the adventures. You might want to click on there and get a good look at that. I also want to just kind of keep you updated, too, on some of the things happening at Hamilton. This coming Saturday night, we meet at the Samaritan Center, and usually it's just shortly after sundown. We've been meeting at 9 o'clock, but now we can meet earlier. So, Hal, do you know the exact time that we're going to meet?
No, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood, about 8:30.
Okay, 8:30, and then hopefully it'll take us just about an hour, maybe a little over an hour. The more hands we get, the quicker it goes, and it's really fun. We keep our social distance, but we just move everything out of a certain area into another area, and there's bins, and it's quite organized. And it goes pretty quick the more people there are. So we want to keep you dated there. Then our podcasts, like we're doing today, having guests like Laura. Now, next Tuesday, I believe I have Gary Rustad. He's the president of our Georgia Cumberland Conference. So you don't want to miss that one. We're not 100% because schedules like this, but he said I would be happy to meet with you, and we're targeting this next Tuesday. Hudson Construction is still moving forward. I talked to Bob Hershey. Our roof is going to be worked on this month. In probably another week or two, they're going to start working on our roof. It won't take them long. Then they'll start doing everything indoors, and that will go quick, he said. So then we'll be back indoors. We don't have a deadline or a time where it's all done, but they think it'll start moving rather quickly now that the roof gets back on. So I'm excited about that. If you look at the tower, they've got the brickwork done there, and once the roof is done, then everything else starts moving. So that's what we're waiting on right now. If you don't see a lot of work going on, it's because of the roof. but it's being manufactured and they're almost done. It'll be moved in.
And Dave, also, this week we are getting our permit to begin construction on our new sign.
Oh, I was getting to that. You're jumping.
Oh, my bad. I thought
I got it down. But isn't that exciting? I'll just jump in there. We actually met. Hal was a part of that. We met with Herbie, who's actually going to be doing most of the work, subbing it out, and we already have the plans drawn up. We're actually we have the LED signs already purchased in our church. So everything's going to start moving. I think in a week or two, he'll start doing the foundation work. Then we'll have everything else going up, and it's going to have a little waterfall, which I'm pretty excited about. And I had to kind of fight for that little waterfall feature, but I think it'll, and the reason I wanted that, here's the reason, is studies show that you have something moving, more eyes attract to it. And so you have a little light lit up at night too. Movement causes people to see it. And so having that little waterfall feature, and I thought, first impressions are more important than you think. It's amazing how many people, and I read an article where people will actually not even drive into your parking lot if there's weeds and your building's falling apart, the sign doesn't look nice. They'll actually turn around and say, you know what, I don't think this is the church for us. So having that first nice, just amazingly attractive sign may just draw them in. And then we're working with a team too to have the aesthetics of the church. The grounds look really nice. We're talking about resurfacing the parking lot here soon, maybe doing a fund driver for that. But we're going to make certain that our church looks really nice so that when people come, they just feel a gravitational pull to come in. Also, too, we're having 3 services now. So we have a 10 o'clock where face masks are required. And there's no exception, just face masks required. We want everyone to feel safe there. And everyone's been doing a very good job. And we've only had to remind a few people. And so it's been real good. Then we have an 11 and a 12 o'clock service. They're only 45-minute services. So we have a 15-minute break in between. And then as you exit, we have a little box. We don't take up the offering. You can give as you exit. There's a little giving box. Or you can give online at hamiltonchurch.com. And it's so easy to give. hamiltonchurch.com/give. Then I think I've covered most everything. Don't forget too about the devotionals that we have every morning at 8 o'clock, Monday through Thursday. We're covering the book of John, and Hal, you've helped me with those. Anything you want to say about the devotionals?
No, going through First John in the last week or so has been just a blessing. The book of John was great, studying the life of Christ, but with First John, really delving into the character of God has been really, it's such a great way to start the day. Just a little 10-minute shot, a boost. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And of course, we don't want to leave without saying Tuesday nights is our feeding the community. So we have meals 6 to 7:30. And last week, I think it was about 6:30, 200 meals were gone from 6 to 6:30. Now they do show up a little bit early, but in a half an hour. So we're going to 250 meals. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're shooting for 250 tonight. We're going to see how that lasts. We may have to go even higher than that. So the whole thing is just completely exploded. We are, everyone's been so generous in volunteering and being a part of it. And as soon as we get caught up, we're going to need more help. I grew up in Atlanta where they always worked on the roads because of growth. But by the time they finished the roads, Atlanta had already outgrown the new roads. This kind of what's happening with our Tuesday ministries. It's growing faster than we can keep up with. But
we're not just feeding these people. A lot of them are asking for prayer. We're making connections. We're building relationships. I'm getting to know several of the people by name. So that is really one of our biggest purposes, is just to make connections in our community. And I tell you, I've never been more excited in my ministry than right now, seeing us make a connection with the community like we never have before. So it's exciting. Come out if you'd like to. You're welcome to help. They start around 4:35 preparing the meals. And then from 6 to 7:30, it might only be 6 to 6:30. But if you'd like to get a meal, you can just drive through, just see what we're doing. You don't even have to help. You can just say, hey, I'd like to just see what's going on, and we'll give you a meal. No questions asked. We don't care what kind of car you drive. It might be a Mercedes or a beat up old, who knows. So we're just there to serve. It doesn't matter who drives by. So come on out, 6 to 7:30, and be a part of that if you'd like to. And we wear our masks, and we make certain that people know that we've done all the social distancing, making certain everything's prepared with gloves and masks. So they do a good job with that. I've been in the kitchen, and they do a great job preparing. Well, I think that's just about everything. And Laura, I want to thank you again for being with us. Anything you'd like to say in closing?
Actually, thank you for giving me that opportunity. Yeah. I realized as we were talking about masks and social distancing, when we start our outdoor services on the 24th, any person who is 6 years of age and older needs to come prepared with a mask. And again, we'll be outdoors, so there may be a chance that we won't necessarily have to use them all the time, but we need to come prepared because, again, it's our 10 o'clock service for indoor worship as well. And if they need to go inside to use the restroom or use facilities, they'll have to have their mask to go inside. So just remember, if you come, put your mask on. But no, other than that, we're just super excited to see what the next chapter is going to bring. So we're just hanging in, going with the flow.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Oh, go ahead. Anything else?
I'm telling y'all, my gracious. So Facebook, we were talking about those. I gave my email address, but for updates for Promised Land, you can also go to our Facebook page. I don't know that I mentioned that, but it's just facebook.com/HCC Kids. Kids
Cool.
with a Z. Mm-hmm.
That's good to know.
Out.
Repeat that one more time.
It's facebook.com/HCC Kids, Hamilton Community Church, Kids with a Z. And it will get you to our it's a public page, so you'll have all the information there that you need for keeping up.
Awesome. Very good. Well, hey, as always, we thank you for joining us. We'd like to close with a word of prayer. So if you just join us for prayer. Father in heaven, thank you again for what's going on at Hamilton. Thank you for Laura and her team that makes so many things happen for our young people. I just pray they'll be safe, that you'll be with the parents, and that they'll just enjoy their time Zooming and being live there at Hamilton. Keep everyone close to you and extremely safe. Thank you for your love for us, and we look forward to meeting on Sabbath in Jesus' name. Amen. Hey, thanks everyone for joining us. Hope you have a great rest of your week. May God bless you real good.